child, thank y'all for picking up my call. Sabrina Carpenter's new album cover, Man Best Friend, causes a lot of controversy and a lot of conversation, and some deem inappropriate. What? Girl. Addison Rae outsold Miley Cyrus. Like, excuse me? Like, girl, okay, now. We gotta talk, because I need to understand what's going on here. Also, is Chappell Roan turning into like a one-hit wonder a little bit? Or y'all just mad at her because she's not acting the way y'all want her to act? What's happening? I don't know. And also, is there any authenticity left in this industry? Is everybody just copying everybody? Is nobody really inspired to their own thing to be original or be a little niche, a little quirky? Well, let's have a conversation about it all, because this is Woo Chow. Woo Chow, let's hop right into this call. So Sabrina Carpenter is coming out with a new album already, which I feel like the short and sweet era is still around, but also she's just striking while the iron's hot. She said, girl, I'm in the gig, why not do it, full to my best ability? And I agree. I think that sometimes we let artists kind of skate by on one era, and there was a time, right, back when I was growing up, I make myself sound so old, but I'm not, but listen, when I was growing up, when I was younger, I remember album cycles would last at least 3 years. Oh yes, honey, you got the first single would last you about 4 or 5 months, and then the second single would come out, and then after that, now you're going into about the next year, but the second and third single, the album is out at this point, the album press, and then you do the tour. Then the tour lasts you another year or so. By the time you're done with that tour, you maybe are teasing new music. If anything, you may release a deluxe, but at that point, you have lived off this album for at least 2 to 3 years. That's usually how this goes. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Sabrina had released Short and Sweet, was it just last year? Yeah, just last year, 2024. And then she did Short and Sweet, the deluxe, 2025. And now we have Man-Child, which is at 64 million streams. I mean, you want to talk about that. Wow. And I want to congratulate Sabrina on this, because Man-Child is a song that I have to be completely honest, I thought was stealing from Chappell Roan. You know what I mean? I did. I thought that Man-Child sounded like Good Luck Babe a little bit when I first reacted to it. If you want to also watch my reaction to Man-Child and music video, it's on Patreon right now. Come be a part of the Titus Patreon family. We would love to have you. You're missing out right now. You are missing out on this. I also did Addison Rae's album on Patreon right now, so you missing out. And depending when this is coming out, I think Cardi B's new song is on Patreon right now as well. You just child, you are just missing out. So come be a part of the Titus Patreon family. First link in the description below. We would love to have you. 64 million streams, and Jack Antonoff is on the production. Jack Antonoff knows how to make a hit. Jack Antonoff knows what he's doing when he's coming down to this production thing. And if you have to be completely honest, yes, the Taylor Swift formula works beautifully. It does. The Taylor Swift formula works beautifully. Let Jack Antonoff do what he's gonna do, because Jack Antonoff, in my mind, I can say is one of the best producers, because he's not just doing the pop girlies, he's also doing hip hop. Isn't he not on Kendrick Lamar's new album as well, Jack Antonoff? Yes, he's on the GNX album. He produced. Oh, yes. Do your research on Jack before you get to talking. Now, granted, like I said, some of the things he do is a little rehash, reuse, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But I mean, what producer isn't doing that, though? Let's be honest here. Because I can tell you this. Please, 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 and Man-Child have elements, not complete ripoffs, and not like, copying Taylor Swift, but definitely inspirations and some nod to some Taylor Swift writing and the melodic choices that were used from Taylor Swift. I think, did Amy Allen also do Man-Child as well? Yes, Amy Allen, Jack Antonoff, and Sabrina Carpenter. Let me tell you something. Amy Allen, Julia Michaels, and Sabrina, fab. Those girls know how to write these songs. And let me tell you, I think it's because they know what they're trying to say. I feel like they know how to help Sabrina, and even Sabrina herself, but know how to put out exactly what she's trying to say. And it's quite interesting how Man-Child is hit #1. Like, please, please, please. That's crazy, because Sabrina tried to warn this little boy, this little Salt Bae. Salt Bae was warned, okay? And then she publicly pleaded. And then she said, you know what, now you're a man-child. If you try to make me look stupid, I'm going to do this to you, okay? I'm going to run it. You're going to hate to listen to my music on the radio because I'm going to make it about you, and you're going to know it's about you. And so she made Man-Child. And I love how oh boy. Like, she knew. I love Sabrina. Sabrina does no wrong in my mind. And I know some people are asking me, like, well, Zach, well, how do you feel about her making this, a new album cycle so soon? And I think it's smart. In this day and age, like I said, when I grew up, you can let an album cycle run for a while. You let it sit for a few years and you can live off of it. And Sabrina, let me tell you something, short and sweet, she can live off that for a minute. I think she just said something in her new interview she just did. She said this recently, actually. She literally said, Carpenter said that if she ever felt like it, she'll release more videos from the album, like Bad Kim and Juno. Man, mind you, I thought Bad Kim was going to get a video. And I thought Bad Kim was going to be a single. Because it could have been. And I think Bad Kim, if I'm not mistaken, is doing, and it's not a single, but I think it did, bitch, Bad Kim has 600 million streams. Sabrina. And Juno has 400 million? Oh, baby. Sabrina's album did fantastic. I don't think there's not a song on here that has less than 100 million streams. She could have ran short and sweet for another year if she really wanted to. She said, if I feel like I want to wake up one day and make a Busy Woman music video in 2 years, no one's telling me I can't. She said, I'm in this weird zone right now where I just see the rules meaning less and less. She's not lying. Because who made the rules that you couldn't do that? Who made the rules that you couldn't make a whole new music video for a 2-year-old song and research the album? I would do that. I think that's smart. These new girls are rewriting what we think a pop rollout or like what it's supposed to be or how pop music is supposed to live or how eras are supposed to be. When you can actually make a new era, and then who said you couldn't go back to the old era to make something really quickly, to maybe even connect the two eras that maybe you're living in currently and an old era to make it make sense. That's very possible. I think Sabrina is on to something, if anything. I think she might be smart. We're not just talking about Manchild, okay? I just wanted to get my feelings out on Manchild. What we're talking about is the album cover for this new album, Man's Best Friend. And let me tell you something, right? I don't think nothing's wrong with this album cover. I think it's smart. I think it's delicious. I think that she is doing exactly what she needs to do, which is captivating y'all and getting y'all to talk. But let me be honest with you. If you think this is scandalous, y'all are so sensitive. I think everybody is so woke, okay? Everybody is just so damn woke when it comes to women respecting yourself. Like all the feminists and white woman feminists, but we won't talk about it, but I'm talking about it because, it's woo child. But all the white woman feminists are coming for Sabrina saying that she's degrading herself. And why would you do this? Because even like when she does the Juno poses and on the tour, and she's like, do you like this? What about this one? What about this? What about this one? And she's just being suggestive, right? But, thinking about Sabrina and her brand, she's always been cheeky. You know what I mean? She's always been, I would say, provocatively cheeky. That's the way to put it. Provocatively cheeky. And you could almost say campy a little bit too because she's so small. Small little baby. And she up here making these little like sexual innuendos, but it's like adorable because she's this big. Or also, she can make a song and say, I'm so fucking horny. She said what she said. Baby said, come right on me. I mean, camaraderie. I love that. How are you mad at Sabrina? And I'm talking to feminists out there. How are you mad at a woman that's owning her sexuality and actually living in it and doing it tastefully, by the way? And whatever the fuck that means. I was about to say tastefully, but whatever the fuck tastefully means, especially your sexuality. I feel like everyone in this world should have freedom to express how they feel sexually, as long as they ain't offending nobody in the sense of like making nobody comfortable, like non-consensually type stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like as long as it's consensually and it's in the right area, it's not public indecency and nothing like that, like it's good. If it's stuff like that, why are we shaming people? I honestly think Sabrina, because baby, if you came up in my era about scandalous sex things, you wouldn't survive. If you think Sabrina is being sexually crazy, you wouldn't survive where I come from. Okay, when I grew up, honey, I grew up with Madonna. Yeah, Madonna had a whole sex book. Madonna had a whole sex book, darling. Kesha, Gaga, like these. I grew up with Buffy the Body. I grew up on Triple X magazine, Triple XL magazine, or Double XL magazine. I grew up on King magazine. I grew up on Ebony. I grew up when the pop girls were shaking the table. Okay, like where it was like, oh my God, bitch, this is terrible. Why would you do this to yourself? Like, why would you even put this out? Honey, I grew up with Rihanna. Talk to me when Sabrina got a video get banned on MTV across all networks. Across the entire Viacom said, fuck it, we can't pay S&M at all. Now that's when you can tell me, uh-oh, we can cause a little outrage. But for an album cover, because she got this man, she been a little submissive a little bit, what's the problem? I want to look at some TikToks, okay? I brought up some TikToks of some people talking about their problems or maybe even defending Sabrina. I want to see what y'all got to say. Because I know I can't be the only one up in here in the key of Ariana Grande. I can't be the only one. You know what I mean?
The absolute controversy that Sabrina Carpenter has started and all of the discourse that has spiraled since this.
She got a Taylor Swift shirt on too.
A perfect example of a greater issue, and this might ruffle some feathers.
Ooh.
People are so passionate about this issue. The arguments are so heated. I see my comments. Trust me, I see them. Just a few days ago, the overall discussion was that this image is degrading. It's controversial. It makes people a little uncomfortable.
How does this make you uncomfortable, though? I really want to know. How does this make you uncomfortable and degrading? If anything, it's powerful. Am I wrong? I know I'm not a woman. I'm not a woman, so I can't speak about, you know, what makes women feel uncomfortable and, you know, whatever. But I'm trying to, you know, keep it feminist because, like, I do get it. But, like, I don't find this, like, I'm not attracted to this either. Like, this doesn't make me feel, like, sexually, like, ooh, Sabrina. Like, this doesn't do that for me. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, let my girl keep talking.
And just in 2 days after this image was shared, the conversation really had shifted in a million different ways. There's a concept called mission creep. This is when a group starts with a clear message, a clear agenda, but the members of the group start to slowly shift into other unrelated issues. Overall, it weakens the core message. And when you start to notice these patterns in pop culture, how quickly an agenda can be lost without her even saying anything. It's at the point now where the pendulum swings, everyone's up in arms about the controversy, and then they start picking at, well, her lyrics aren't highbrow enough for her to ever do anything with this. So now we're just attacking her lyricism, her talent, her craft. That had nothing to do with this image.
It had
People
nothing.
are dogging on her lyrics from years ago that have nothing to do with this current project or that.
Y'all are dogging on her lyrics?
Like I said, even if there was merit to the first claim of this is degrading, this is offensive, once we start attacking every other thing that she has ever done that has nothing to do with this image, you start to lose the public confidence. Think of all the things I just shared about this idea. Losing the public's interest, losing the public's confidence, overwhelming the public with so much differing opinions and information. Is there any other industry or agenda that you can think of that really benefits when the public's confidence is eroded? Really ever just pop culture? Once you understand a pattern in one context, it makes it very easy to spot it in another. Food for thought.
Good job, Miss Girl. That was a creator named Breton Ray. I do understand what you're saying. But I feel like that's the point of pop culture, though. I want to argue you and say, I know she's saying, well, you know, some people are telling her, like, well, it's just pop culture, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I agree with her in saying, like, well, it is a big deal in the sense of, like, the public's perception and people are not being able to tag along and losing the plot. You guys are losing the plot of why this picture made people uncomfortable. But honestly, I have to be completely honest, I still think that that's what good marketing of music is. You know what I'm saying? Can I be honest with you? Though it is losing the plot in the sense that people are now attacking her lyrics and trying to come for her as a person and, you know, ripping apart her old music and stuff like that. So they're missing the point of this actual image and this actual project and living what's currently going on. But I have to be completely honest. I think that that's the smart thing about releasing a provocative image. And this is what I'm trying to say. Provocative to who, though? Who is this being provocative towards? Just women in general? Because if that's the case, baby, female hip-hop, y'all should be up in arms. And I hope it ain't because this is a white woman. Uh-oh. Are y'all ready to have that conversation? Because we at Woo Child. We about to have this conversation. Woo Child. I hope y'all not trying to have this conversation because it's a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. So she shouldn't be able to, like, she's making provocative things. This is making people uncomfortable. Let me see. I want to see what else people got to say. Because that's interesting. This is my same girl. Okay. Breton's had some other things to say as well.
If you find this to be controversial, misogynistic, or offensive to women, then congratulations, you are giving Sabrina the reaction she intended to get.
Come on, bitch.
What Carpenter is doing is absolutely genius.
It's genius. Oh, I live for this girl. I live for her. Miss Breton Ray. Oh, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, Miss Girl, but I live for you. Because thank you for bringing this right. Because that's the point of good marketing. This is the point. You misogynistic, offensive to who? It gotta be to some. I'm no shade. You gotta be somebody that's not living for yourself or something, because there's no way this should make you feel like her being like, I guess, somewhat submissive, even. Girl, it's called Man's Best Friend. She's playing a play on dogs. It's a word play on women and how men treat women, how women can be treated as objects and objectified as just an object to a man. Like, there's a lot of sub layers to this. You know what I'm saying? But long hair, preach out, girl.
Is not going to be what you expect at all. And she gave us plenty of signs about the story she's trying to tell through this album in the Man-Child music video. What she is doing right now is a genius marketing bait and switch move.
Yes.
And she is intentionally sparking these controversial conversations. The conversation and debate that has sparked in just the few hours since she announced this album, Man's Best Friend, with the photo of her posed like a dog, is doing exactly what she intended it to do. The music video for Man-Child sets the scene for the tale she's going to tell in Man's Best Friend. There's something that you need to pay attention to, is that the music video tells a completely different story than the lyrics of the song.
1000%.
Quite literally contradicts every single word that comes out of her mouth. Right off the bat, we start with this. This is a significant image. It is a bird riding a turtle. This is Sabrina Carpenter and her relationships with men. Why is this significant? Birds can fly. This bird is being slowed down by riding a turtle. Then what do we cut to right after? Sabrina Carpenter hitchhiking, relying on men to pick her up to take her to her next destination. She is the bird, they are the turtle. And even though throughout this entire song she is saying, man-child, why you always come running to me? And I swear they choose me, I'm not choosing them. But what is she doing in the music video? Do her actions align with what she's saying? No, they absolutely don't. She is choosing the men. And as she experiences the fallout of every man she chooses throughout this music video, what does she do after one fails? She goes to the next one. The cycle continues.
That's what I said in the music video. Yes.
The last scene of this music video is her getting
she
out
got
of
the
her
cart
car
and goes to
hopping
the
on
other.
next.
Yep.
And this is setting the scene for Man's Best Friend.
Yep.
Which it is my opinion, it's going to be a very deep emotional album.
Yes.
And that tells the story about the society.
Opposed to short and sweet. I want to take the, no shade, Brittany. Girl, I live for you, Britt. Can I call you Britt? Britt, Miss Britt Ray. Listen, now for real. When I saw that video, and I thought the same thing, I said, I love that Sabrina is, I think this album, to be honest, is going to highlight more of her. Her relationship with men and a relationship with how she is treated or allows herself to be treated with men. Because the thing is, if you look at Short and Sweet was talking about her and, you know, kind of romanticizing fucked up men. Uh-oh. You get what I'm saying? And now Man-Child, or Man's Best Friend, could kind of be the album that's going to like come to her senses and maybe realize like, well, damn, maybe I'm the issue, and maybe I romanticized this a little too much, and I couldn't see the reality of what things really were. And so, hence the album cover being actually quite perfect for what the story she might be wanting to tell.
Societal pressures on women to make themselves more palatable to the male gaze. I think it's going to be a story about her recognizing that she has been doing this to herself due to the pressure of societal norms. I think this album is a bait and switch. She is baiting the public to get all riled up, thinking that she is making herself man's best friend, making herself more palatable to men. Really, she is just simply personifying how society already sees and views and pressures women into becoming. I think this album is going to tell the story of her recognizing that she has fallen victim to this societal norm as well. But the genius part about it is the narrative that forms when a woman does this. Everyone is saying she's setting women back 50 years. No one is saying men haven't changed. The witch hunt has begun already, and we don't even know what this album is going to be about. Every single thing that is being said about her is what she intended to be said about her. Because if you watch the music video, she is quite literally telling us that she does this to herself. Which is the reason why I think this entire album is going to be about her discovering that, and ultimately with an ending of how she overcame it, realizing that she can fly, which pushes me even further to think that we might be on the edge of a rebrand. As always, tell me your thoughts below. I'm excited to see them.
I would love a rebrand from Sabrina. I'm not gonna hold you, and I definitely see that. Yes, Miss Britt Ray, I live for you, girl. You ate that. You tore that right on down. Yes, you did. And I'm so happy you're not one of those people that was just trying to dogpile on Sabrina like misogynist and dog. I saw them comments and I said, oh, y'all stupid. And Sabrina ate that. And that's how you market an album. And I'm happy other people are seeing it as well. Sabrina, I'm excited to see what you about to do, girl. I'm sacked and I'm excited, Sabrina. We love you, girl. And I'm so happy to have a pop girl like you in this industry, pushing boundaries and doing it in your way, on your rules. I love it. I'm here for it. All right, so moving right along to Addison Rae and Miley Cyrus. Let me tell you something right now. Something happened that I did not see happening this time around with this album cycle, girl. Addison Rae's Addison sold 48,500 copies, right? 32.84 million on-demand streams, which she got 13 million in the first day. I'm telling you, I didn't expect Addison Rae to come out with 13 million streams in the first day, and she did 23,000 pure sales. Now, the great queen and iconic girl, Miley Cyrus, sold, and she debuted at number 4, okay? Addison Rae debuted at number 4 as well, but Miley Cyrus debuted at number 4, and she sold 44,000 equivalent units with 27,000 pure sales, right? This is Miley's 15th top 10 album in the US. It's quite interesting to see, though, that Addison Rae got that close to Miley Cyrus. That's what I want to bring up. I just want to bring this up really quickly because I thought it was quite interesting, right? Addison Rae sold more units, 4,000 more units. Like, yeah, she sold 4,000 more units than Miley Cyrus. Although the pure sales, Miley Cyrus sold more in the pure sales, right? That makes sense because Miley Cyrus has the bigger fan base as well. But not that much. Not that much. I mean, Miley sold 27K pure sales. Addison sold 23K pure sales. So the margins, not that far. Now, this ain't no shade to Miley or anything like that, because Miley is still queen. But I wanted to bring this up and say, like, Miley Cyrus flops will never be a flop. Okay? Miley should definitely be able to do more than 44K. Okay? Like, but I mean, can we say this before I get into Addison? Because Addison's album is good. It is. It is. It's good. I like only find it, girl. Control it, bitch. Listen, I like the other half of the album. Okay, I like the other half of the album. I like the other half of the album. Listen, my favorite songs from the album are a little bit of the singles, but not really the singles. And I think that, to be honest, Miley's album, and as it should be, because Miley is more established as an artist, Miley's album is fleshed out better to me. Miley's album has more substance to me, and it feels like she's actually singing, talking about something, and it was very intentional. Not saying that Addison's does not feel intentional at all. And I don't feel like Addison just threw anything together. I don't think that at all. I think Addison did a good job for her debut album. I do. Now, is it pretty much Madonna's bedtime stories? Yeah. Is Addison Rae's album pretty much just Madonna's bedtime stories? Pretty much. And is it pretty much just Ray of Light by Madonna? Yeah. But that brings me to, we'll talk about this later on in the episode about originality and copying and, being, is there any originality in this industry left before I get to that? But yeah, I think that Addison Rae outselling Miley just by a few, but also being on the same level as Miley, is telling to me about Miley more than Addison. Because for Addison, it makes sense because she's a new girl. She has the new, generation on her side, and, they're interested to see what she's going to do. And that's her first album. So it makes sense of why it did, decent. But for Miley, for me, I say, why is she so close to a legend like Miley? Because Miley is that girl. And like, even though this is a flop for Miley album doesn't really flop. Like, Miley to me doesn't ever really flop. Okay? Because Miley's going to forever walk with me when I tell you this. Miley's going to forever be the it girl. She's going to forever be the girl. It doesn't matter how poor the album does. Okay? It doesn't matter how terrible her singles will do. Because none of these singles did well this time around either. I don't know. I think one of them debuted at like 90 something on the Billboard Top 100. But I think this is Miley's fault though. Miley got to a point, and I don't know when this was, I don't know what album this was, that she just decided to stop promoting her album. You know what I mean? I don't know when that was the case, and maybe it could have just been the Summer Vacation album where she just said, it's out, I got flowers, y'all do the rest of the work. Because in my humble opinion, Plastic Hearts was one of Miley's best work to date. Yeah, Plastic Hearts to this day, to me, still goes. Plastic Hearts deserved so much Oh my goodness. And Summer Vacation is a good album. She's okay. It ain't my favorite Miley album. I'm just being honest with you. But it didn't help that she didn't promote it either. It didn't help that she didn't go out and actually like be like, okay, hold on, y'all. Let me give y'all a little bit of a campaign and, walk you through a little bit and, get your tea. I didn't understand why she didn't promote it like that. And she said she thought that like, y'all get into it. Y'all, get into it. I think that she did enough. And I know she has her reasons of not wanting to promote music. But even this album, Something Beautiful, I know she has like the movies coming out in the theater or something like that, but like other than that, Miley has not been promoting this album to me. Like, I don't know what that's about. Like, she went on talk shows, so I guess she did a little something, but did it not feel like it kind of, to y'all? You know what I mean? Opposed to Addison. Addison is on TikToks, interviews, podcasts, hot air balloons. Girl, she got pelicans dropping off the album to her fans, girl. Like, Addison was trying to make sure y'all knew her debut album was coming. So granted, yes, like I said, I'm sure she did better than Miley metrically just because she's out here more. She's a new girl. This is, she's fresh to the scene. But I wish Miley would have, I'm just being honest, I think Miley's gap should have been bigger. And I don't know why I don't know why. Because Miley does not promote her music, okay? No shade. And because Miley, in some ways, like Justin Bieber, is sick of being famous, I feel like. Like, I feel like Miley enjoys being famous for like Miley Cyrus. Like, she enjoys the perks of it. But what all that comes with the celebrity of fame, I think she hates. Which is why she's like, ugh. I make music, it's there. If you want to listen to it, go listen to it. But if not, all right. You know what I mean? Like, all right, girl, well, I guess that's that. It's something to be said about that, I feel like. Like, there's something to be said about Miley not really wanting to promote her music like she used to. I don't know. But I think that's the only reason why this album didn't do as well in general. Because Addison doing 48K in her first week sounds beautiful, sounds expected, makes sense to me. Miley doing less and only doing 44K and not having that much press around it and not all this, it's concerning to me because Miley is legend. Miley is that girl. Miley should be doing 100K. Let's just be honest here. Miley should be doing 100K first week. Am I wrong? Miley bangers, Miley gang, Milers, dead pets. I don't know. I just think that Miley should be doing at least 80K first week. Minimum 80K. But also, on top of Miley not really promoting the album as much as she should and giving it like this press run, like I think she should, and I think she did a good job as far as releasing music videos and the theme of the album. Like, she did that, but it just feels like the mark was missed. But besides that, it feels like, what music do we want from Miley? And it's not our decision to make, it's not our decision to make an artist, make what they want to make, because it's, the audience should not dictate what the artist is making. So I'm not saying like she should make what we want. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying, what do we want from Miley when we listen to Miley Cyrus? Like, for me personally, the reason why I love Plastic Heart so much, that felt like Miley Cyrus to me. Like, the sound, the writing, all of it, the performances, all of it felt like Miley Cyrus to me. You know what I mean? I felt like I was in her world. I felt like I was living in her world. And Something Beautiful does that. And if I had to be honest, I think Something Beautiful is her most well-crafted album. Which is why I'm kind of mad that it didn't do that well metrically. Because sonically, y'all ain't seeing her. I think Miley finally figured out what to do and how to put it together for a way where it's pushing the boundaries of even what she's done. But maybe her listeners, her fans don't want that. Is that what it is? I don't know. I wonder, does her fans not want that kind of sound from Miley? Which is concerning to me because it's like, I've always known Miley to be a genre bender. You know what I mean? So I've never known Miley to be stuck in one box, really. Miley's always given me, she's going to try whatever she wants. She's going to do whatever she wants. It's going to be something that is different and pushing the envelope and is going to fit whatever era that she's in that current moment. But damn, I don't say what you want. And I don't know if this is any truth to this, but is it really true that Bangers album and that Bangers era really haven't had people come back to her for an album? For a single? Yes. I think people pay attention to her singles. But I don't know if people pay attention to Miley Cyrus albums ever since that whole banger situation. Which is interesting because Bangers is her, I think, top selling album of all time. Interesting. I don't know. I want to unpack this more, and I would love to know what you have to say in the comments below. But congratulations to Addison, and congratulations to Miley as well. But I definitely do think Miley's gap should have been bigger than Addison's, just for the sake of Miley being a legendary girl, being a legendary act. And like I said, though Miley flopped, technically, you know, it did flop, but Miley ain't no flop girl. Whatever, Miley can never flop, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that because I'm a stan of my bitch Miley, because I love Miley Cyrus down. But I'm just saying, it's just fact. Miley can't flop, period. Congratulations to the girls. I'm proud of y'all. But I do want, I don't know, I think the next time Miley does music, I just hope that the next album, because she has the craftsmanship of this album, so I feel like take that to the next album and pair that with some really good marketing. I think we get a 100K debut. Like, I think Miley deserves a 100K debut. That's just all I'm saying. All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, so before I get out of y'all hair, right? Before I go, I want to bring up two topics I kind of want to mesh together, which is Chappell Roan feeling like a one-hit wonder or falling off, and then kind of like the niche and people not really making original things anymore, right? And I don't think those go hand in hand with Chappell, because I think Chappell is her own thing. But the reason why I want to bring these up together is because I brought up in the beginning of this episode about how I thought that Sabrina's song did sound like Good Luck Babe a little bit, but like, you know, we didn't give her that much like flack about it. And I brought that up because I was like, are we running out of like originality in this industry? Is everybody just copying from everybody for real? Which is quite interesting. And we're pulling inspiration from everybody, even if you're brand spanking new, girl. Chappell has been doing this for a long time. And I think Chappell's public image is starting to change a little bit, because now people are saying or looking at Chappell like she's just this diva, this difficult thing to work with or like be around, or she shouldn't be so witty. And I was like, well, Renee Rapp is witty, but I think people like Renee Rapp because they get that's her personality. But I'm like, I think we understand that Chappell Roan, that's her personality as well. The reason why I even brought up that she was like a one-hit wonder is because it feels like her public persona is turning off the GP that she had. And one-hit wonder is crazy to say because, bitch, first of all, Hot to Go is a hit. Pink Pony Club is a hit. Good Luck Babe is a hit. Even her song, The Giver, that's somewhat of a hit, I guess, you know. But it seems like the perception of Chappell Roan is starting to change the crave and the want for Chappell Roan, because it just feels like, I don't know, I feel like I couldn't get away from Chappell Roan like a few months ago. Like I was looking around, everywhere I look around, there was a Chappell Roan. Like everybody loved this girl. Now it feels like even white folk feel like, oh, okay, little girl, you talking a lot, you doing a lot, but I don't know if I live for that. I don't know if I like your sense of humor. And then I think her politics, I think she has said something recently along the lines of her saying like, you know, she doesn't want to get too political, but meanwhile, back at the ranch, you know what I mean? And I think people got turned off from that. And I think people getting turned off by Chappell in general. And it's funny to say that because this is what happens in this industry, right? I think somebody even made a rumor about her like selling her soul to the devil because like she's like, she has such a really fast rise, and now it feels like nobody really cares. And then she's, I guess, dressing up in costumes and stuff. I'm like, she's always dressed up in costumes, y'all, but whatever. But what's starting to happen, and I can read right through this, right? It's not Chappell's fault. It's not Chappell's fault at all. It's people, this is what happens with the general public. When you are so big in the general public, and this is why I brought up the point of people, you know, copying and having a niche audience, and is it good to just have a niche audience and stuff like that? Because Chappell had the niche audience, and then it got GP. It went to general public, and then it became huge. It became like this big pop thing, right? And what happens when that happens is you are no longer looked at in the microscope of your niche audience. You are now looked at in the microscope of a general audience, and they don't really do the research to research what and how and why. It's something like Doja, actually. It's quite interesting because it's like Doja. And I made this civilization. I made this comparison a while ago when people were saying that Doja was like rude and a diva back at the Met Gala thing. And I was like, y'all don't say that about Chappell Roan. Quite the contrary. People do talk about Chappell Roan like that. People do talk about Chappell Roan like that. And people have deemed Chappell Roan to be this thing that is terrible. And I'm like, actually, I think y'all are just tripping. And listen, I'm not the biggest Chappell Roan fan. to this day, like I don't listen to Chaperone like that. I don't really like put myself all into Chaperone's gig like that. But I will say that this girl is super talented, and falling off is crazy to say for anybody. Does she have some wittiness? Does she have an attitude thing? Does she feel like a little bit? Sure. But I don't think that that's enough to write her off. I will say that I feel like her grip around the GP is fading a little bit, but it could be for the better. You know what I'm saying? It could be for the better, because let her finally get back to her niche audience. And that's why I bring up my last point about this call is, I think it's better to have a niche audience. I think it's better to have a niche audience. It's better to be deemed as quirky or to be niche, because if you don't, and I feel this more so in the male space than women's space. Women's space too, because female hip hop, if you don't have a niche, can turn into you just copying Nicki or Cardi, or, kind of doing I call it the textbook of whatever genre, like a textbook pop girl or a textbook rap girl or a textbook R&B neo soul girl. Like, these are things that you can do if you don't find the niche that makes you special outside of the music that you make. I think Chaperone has the niche, and I think like girls like Charlie XCX has the niche, and I think it's better to have that unless you're like a Sabrina Carpenter where your niche is GP. You could be that, okay? Because listen, honey, Sabrina, your niche is GP, girl. That's no shade. Honey, ever since Espresso, I am a GP girl. And that's what makes me niche, okay? Because I am a GP girl. But Chapel and other people, I think it's good to finally have that niche because it makes you authentic. And the thing is, listeners nowadays in this music thing, like, people don't want just celebrity. They want to feel connection. People want to feel authenticity. And it's because, we're not getting told what to listen to anymore. We're not getting told what to play, what's on the radio is all you can listen to. Because of streaming and the era that we're in, artistry and music is vast. It's so vast. And so you can listen to whatever you want to listen to, and you can kind of get into whatever world you want to get into and be good into it. And I think that, people are maybe feeling like, Chapel is falling off, but I think it's the quite opposite. I think Chapel did the GP thing, blew up, and I think now she can finally get to that niche, back to the niche market that she had, and the niche market has grown more because people that were in the GP that said, well, actually, I like this girl outside of just the singles or outside of just this, and they took the time to get to know her, they're going to go to the shows. They're going to be the ones who's going to buy the CDs and buy the singles. This industry can pigeonhole you a little bit into either you find you a niche or be something that's special outside of that, or you then just look around and be like, okay, how can I copy or take inspiration from this, from this, from this? And the thing is, art is that too. No shade. You could be an artist and find inspiration, and you should be an artist and find inspiration in different, artists that came before you, or even artists that are with you at the same time that you're out. There's nothing wrong with that at all. However, I think it just fits better to have a niche. I brought up men more than women because I feel like R&B men are going through that the most. You know what I'm saying? Some R&B men always want to have like a leather black jacket on, a suave, like some type of cool, like, or, look. Like, it just feels like, they just look like a man that look like they can dress well. Okay, but there's 100 of y'all that dress like this and that can sing and do the whole thing, but y'all all like, remember the time when like R&B men had braids and be like the pretty boy and be like super clean and very attractive? I think that's changing. I think it's changing because it was a thing that everybody was copying, and it made it so unoriginal after a point. It was original to certain R&B singers that came out at that time, but now you try to do that formula is dried up. Okay, quiet as it's kept. People like Daniel Caesar, even though he's not in the mainstream anymore due to those stupid remarks he made in the past, but like, people still listen to Daniel Caesar. People love Daniel Caesar still. His albums are doing really well. I mean, he ain't the most thing to look at, but people like him. I think people are looking like Leon Thomas. He's attractive, but he ain't the pretty boy attractive. Like, like the conventionally attractive man that people used to sell to make R&B boys work. That's what I'm trying to say. That's done. That formula is done. People want authenticity. People want to feel a genuine connection. Just looking pretty and being able to sing ain't doing it no more, even on the male side. It was like that on the female side for a while, because females get it worse than males when it comes to this industry as far as being scrutinized and things of public image. But like, I'm tired of R&B boys looking the same. I'm tired of rap boys looking the same as well too. You know what I mean? So it gets to some point where I'd rather be Chaperone. I'd rather be Chapel. Like, I love when Charlie came out and said, my next album probably want to flop. I love when Charlie said that, because it makes sense. Because it's like, how should I expect to sit up here and expect another Brat when that was a niche thing? Because I was being authentic to myself. And the thing is, Charlie's going to be authentic to herself in the next album, but it's probably not going to make the same moment as Brat, because Brat was its own thing. It was its own moment. And the way these women can kind of ship and shape over eras, men need to do that too. Men already do that too, girl. It's getting boring because it's just copying the next man or copying the next artist. So Chapel, I think you're doing a beautiful thing, Chapel. I think you are doing what's right for you. And I think that you are a niche girly, and I think you should keep being a niche girly. Like Melanie Martinez is another girl. Melanie Martinez, when she drops, she clears. Okay? You want to talk about niche? You want to talk about an audience? Melanie drops, you could have sworn like Playboi Carti is another one. When them people drop, it's, girl, who cares about public, the GP? My audience cares. And to be quite honest, even me as an artist, I'd rather my tight ass army support me than just a whole lot of people that just be like, oh, he's cute, he's fine, I guess he does what he needs to do. Bitch, and now don't get me wrong, now the money that, the money that comes with GP as a GP artist is fab. But I really do think somebody like Gaga as well. Gaga's another girl where she has the GP, but Gaga's audience is so big that you would have sworn it's a GP, but it's actually just the little monsters that love her. Beyonce as well, okay? Beyonce is a GP girl. Beyonce is a commercial girl. But don't get it twisted, baby. The Beehive is so big that you would think it's GP, but honey, it's my people. It's my people, okay? I think as an artist, that's a blessing to have. So if y'all want to say that Chaperone is falling off because her attitude and she ain't the same and she only had a few songs, that's what you think. And honestly, I think Chaperone should keep letting y'all think that thing, because she's doing the right thing to me. All right, Tight Ass Army, let me know in the comments what you guys think about all these topics, and let me know what y'all think about this episode of Woo Child. What do you think about Sabrina? What do you think about Chapel? What do you think about Addison outselling Miley? And what do you think about the originality in this industry and having a niche audience? Like, what do you feel about these topics? I want to have a conversation with y'all. We're going to keep this conversation going, all right? All right, Tight Ass Army, if you want to watch those reactions, don't forget you can watch those on the Tight Ass Patreon. Right now, become be a part of the Tight Ass Patreon family. We would love to have you. And I love y'all so much for picking up my Tight Ass Army, and I will call y'all back real soon. Bye, Army.